Good morning, friends. Here we are. It is Thursday, our fourth day of the Quintessence Virtual Choral Festival. And I am here with my friends and colleagues, Sarah Langworthy and Adam Reinwalders, joining us from the Twin Cities. Welcome, folks. How are you?
Doing okay. We're on day 4. A little tired today, but we're here. We're doing the thing. It's gonna be great.
Yep, this is awesome. It's Thursday. Thursday's a great day.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love Thursdays. I totally agree with you. And you all, folks at home, the people that have been registering to be in on this festival all week, you've noticed probably a couple of glitches here and there, but mostly you haven't. And that's not to say that there haven't been things that Sarah and Adam have been behind the scenes dealing with at the last minute, but they've done so brilliantly. So we're so grateful that we have them this morning. And one of the reasons that I have both of them on this morning is that tonight I am their guest on the Twin Cities Happy Hour Beer Choir that's happening at 5:30 Mountain Time. And Albuquerque folks, Quintessence folks are well aware of Beer Choir, but Adam and Sarah are the ones who have been keeping it going kind of at the Beer Choir mothership up there in Minnesota. So I'm so looking forward to that, I think, you guys.
We are super excited. It's kind of our standard Thursday. We took last week off because Sarah and I were both out of town, but we've been doing a virtual happy hour with Beer Choir pretty much since the March 15th, I think. March 15th was our first one, and
time has lost all meaning.
Well, it might as well be November. I don't know, but we're super excited to talk tonight, Matt. We'll have you lead a song from the Beer Choir hymnal, or something that is kind of a favorite for the Albuquerque folks. If you guys are doing something a little different, that'd be great. And then we're going to play a couple of silly games because that's what we do at Beer Choir. And we might ask Matt to think about all the places he's lived in his life and see if he can tell which one is a beer name from a city from around his lifetime and which is a pizza name. Because I remember Albuquerque as like a big pizza town. Is that right? Still big pizza town in Albuquerque?
Well, I mean, we have pizza. I don't know that anyone who lives here thinks of us as a big pizza town. Albuquerque, chime in the comments. But we got pizza here.
Well, I'm gonna be like that Adam guy. I don't know.
I don't know. Now
I don't think we have a lot of people from New York making the trek out here to try Albuquerque pizza.
Probably not.
I don't know. Last time I was in Albuquerque, it was like you couldn't move without running past a pizza joint downtown.
Okay, all right. Well, fine.
We'll shift that perhaps as necessary, but
it's all what you're looking for. You know, if you're somebody who's into pizza, all you see is pizza. I'm not making any judgments. I'm just saying, yeah. Albuquerque.
A little bit of Matt Greer, "This Is Your Life" is what we're going to be playing tonight at Beer Choir.
Awesome. Well, anybody who knows me knows that I love surprises and I love silly games. So I can't wait for both of those things. That's just going to be great.
Yep, we might need you to have a cookie somewhere on your face so that you could play the small game with us. We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. We'll tell you when it's time.
God. Okay. Yes. I'm so stoked.
You
for this.
can do it.
Great.
I mean, 2 weeks ago we had the composer Jake Runestad on Beer Choir playing Chubby Bunny. So just so you know what you're working with. It's really good. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's right. Well, as we've been saying all week, tonight's edition of Beer Choir is being sponsored by Quarter Celtic Brew Pub here in Albuquerque. And every time I say this, it's kind of Albuquerque centric. And I know that not everybody here this week is from New Mexico, but we are so grateful to Quarter Celtic. Quarter Celtic has been in on Beer Choir in Albuquerque from the very beginning. And they're a wonderful local restaurant brew pub. I want to especially say that Albuquerque folks, they are open for patio seating and for carryout. And we know they do great beer right on site. They have fish and chips to die for. So make sure that you're just kind of going in and supporting them, particularly because if you go in today before tonight and before Beer Choir and get one of their 32-ounce crowlers, I did this yesterday, and mention Beer Choir, you get 20% off. And then you can drink that with us while we're doing Beer Choir.
Awesome.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
People yesterday asked about what a crowler is. A crowler, so if you take a normal can of beer and just make it either 24 or 32 ounces, that is a crowler. And somebody said, well, could I drink it all at one time? Yes.
Just
or
a
you can
day.
share it.
Does the day end
It's
in
just something
Y?
you can do.
Right.
Exactly.
If yes,
So
then yes.
That is how you do crowlers. Go to Quarter Celtic, grab yourself a 32-ounce crowler, share with a friend, because everybody has more fun sharing beer with a friend. And then join us for Beer Choir. Sounds
Adam,
good.
I have to say that the folks in comments think you're a little nutty, thinking that Albuquerque is a pizza town. You
Hey,
got
that's fine.
out of Chicago who are like, I'm sorry,
if it
what?
gets people commenting today, that is just fine. I will call Albuquerque whatever town I need to call Albuquerque. Maybe it is also a town of pandas. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm just curious, Adam, is every town that you go to a pizza town? Is that
yes?
You may be
me, yes, it is. Yeah.
Anne says, I don't do beer, so I'll do wine. Totally fine. We are accepting of all kinds of beverage consumption here. So, do what you need to do.
I'll be singing a song about whiskey. So if that also floats your boat, you go for it.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to having you guys lead. And Adam, I've been in on a couple of them in recent weeks. And I know this is like probably one of your only outlets for singing right now, but I really like your baritone voice. So I hope to hear it for real.
Thank you.
Sometime.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
My voice is garbage.
We'll
but
see. Maybe I'll have to wear a mask. We'll see.
I doubt it is. I've just, heard Adam.
Never heard it.
So I want to move on just to kind of recap what a fantastic day yesterday was. Before I do, can I just say yesterday's Mornings with Matt, which was just Adam and I at that point, I felt was so successful because we didn't have any security issues. We didn't have anybody unplanned just kind of pop into the conversation. This happened with Brad Ellingbo on Tuesday, and I'm still kind of a little upset about that. So I'm just really grateful that, oh, wait a second.
Who is this?
Another interloper.
It's another interloper on your lovely morning show. And since I have the microphone, you really can't say no. I'm going to take a moment to sing a little song. And maybe if you like it, you can sing along. Now when I speak of Matthew Greer, I can say nothing nice. Right here in public, it's much too high a price. But if we were alone, my friends, no one but you and I might admit that he might be a reasonably decent guy. A reasonably decent guy. Ha ha!
Wow.
So there.
Wow, Ken! Holy cow!
Ken Miedema, ladies and gentlemen, from his home in Alameda, California. I will say, Ken, it is nicer to see you than it was to see Brad on Tuesday. I will say that. So, Ken, do you have time to sit in with us for the rest of this today?
I do.
We'll have a little conversation. Okay, I'm okay with that. We're getting a little bit of echo, Sarah. I don't know if we can do anything. Okay, terrific. Thank you. So we were just starting to recap yesterday, and one of the things that we had, which was fantastic, and actually Ken, I'm really glad you're here about this, because the fact that we had Benjamin Mertz yesterday was really entirely your doing. I didn't know of Benjamin, and boy, was that an amazing, energetic, inspiring session, and people are so happy to think about the idea of us doing more with him. Tell us about how you came to know Benjamin, Ken.
So I'm a member of this little church in Oakland, Skyline Community Church, and we came to the church about 3 years ago, and my wife and I walked in to the service, and there was Benjamin. He likes all syllables, actually. He says, I earned all 3 syllables. There he was making this outrageously wonderful music. And something in me went, oh my word, I love this. I want to be in this church. And so we started having a conversation after the service. And I discovered that we had both lived in New Jersey. Benjamin grew up in New Jersey, and we had a lot of similar interests and similar friends. And over the weeks that he was my music director, I just came to love him. And then we had so many common interests. We just got in all kinds of conversations. And then when he left the position at our church to go freelancing, we have now made him a co-worker in our little interlude project, which does retreats for music directors all over the country. So Benjamin and I are establishing quite a friendship, I must say.
Well, it was just a spectacular afternoon, and so much energy and so much inspiration. And then that got bookended last night with Mark Miller singing for social justice, which was just, boy, it's voices that we need to be hearing right now, and it's music that we need to be singing right now. And so that was just absolutely fantastic. And then we got a wonderful dose of kind of really helpful calm and connection with our bodies for singers through Darcy Balcom's session. So yesterday was just absolutely fantastic. I want to talk about what today is going to bring, and also the rest of the week, particularly stuff that involves Ken. So let me first say that at 10 o'clock today, we have a wonderful session from Jennifer Kuchar, who is a voice teacher who is here in Albuquerque, wonderful singer and voice teacher, doing a session called Exploring Vocal Acoustics and Mindfulness. And one thing that makes me happy about the fact that Jennifer is on this is that Jennifer, as a younger person, sang in the very first two, I think, Quintessence Summer Choral Festivals when she was a college student. And she's from here, went to Lawrence University in Wisconsin, went to East Carolina University for a master's, and then is back here teaching and just doing wonderful work. And folks who are going to be in on that session, you would have received an email or two from me. This is not an absolute necessity to participate in the session, but there are a couple of apps that she really thinks a lot of and that she uses in the work that she's going to be demonstrating. Those were in the email that I sent. One is only for, I think her preferred one only works for Apple, is what we figured out overnight. And so she had another idea of one that would work for Android. So check your email if you're in on that session and if that's possible for you. Then at noon today, I'm going to be on with two of my colleagues who also enjoy talking smack about me. And that's Barney Smith, who's the artistic director of Voces 8, and Taylor Davis, who's a good friend and composer. We're going to be talking about an absolutely wonderful piece of Taylor's that Barney and I both have an investment in. I do because my church in Albuquerque, St. John's United Methodist, commissioned this Magnificat from Taylor for our Christmas festival in 2016. And it's an absolutely wonderful piece of work that hasn't been really performed yet because it just got published this month. And in the interim, Barney Smith and Voces 8 fell in love with it, and they did a marvelous performance of it a year ago at Milton Abbey in England that was videotaped. They recorded it with a professional orchestra in London. And so Barney and Taylor and I are going to talk about it, and there'll be wonderful footage of that performance and great stuff to listen to. So we hope you'll tune in for that. Taylor Davis is well known to Ken as well. And so do you like Taylor's music? Okay, Ken?
Oh,
Speak
my
freely.
word. He is, in my mind, the best young composer of choral music today. He is just rocking it, and his stuff is accessible. It's just high quality. I don't love, and he's just a good human being. I just love him as a friend.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. So that's going on. And then at 3 o'clock today, again, geography is no object at the Quintessence Virtual Choral Festival. We're thrilled to welcome Marcus Garrett, who is a professor and on the choral faculty at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And Marcus is a wonderful young conductor, composer. I mean, when I first got to know Marcus, mainly through his music, he's prolific arranger and composer, writes wonderful stuff. And most recently, he has been someone who has been putting out a lot of really helpful material having to do with helping choral people get to know Black composers beyond the spiritual tradition. And so he's got great stuff to say about that. And I think that is going to play into his session today. But the main focus of his session is called Choristers Going Beyond the Score. And its focus, I believe, is what is the responsibility of the chorister coming into a rehearsal what should singers who are participating in an ensemble take on for their own responsibility, which is something that I think conductors would love to have people talk about. So
very cool. Lots of great stuff coming today. And then tomorrow, I don't know how we got to Thursday and tomorrow is the last day of this already. And also I'm like, oh my gosh, how is it only Thursday? But because there's still so much great stuff coming. But what's coming tomorrow, Matt?
Well, the main reason that I think Ken broke into this session is because tomorrow, the very last event of this festival is going to be Ken's. And we have lots of fans of Ken's on this morning, as I can see from the chat. But I could think of no better way to wrap up a week that is about connection and inspiration than to have Ken Miedema do a session for us. And I'm so pleased and honored that he's doing so. If you have seen Ken in performance, you know that one of the things that he does is improvise, and he loves to create songs on the spot based on stories that people tell him. And so we've been collecting stories, as you know, but I would love to have Ken talk about how that is going to go and what you're looking for in a good story.
So here's the thing. If you have a story about what choir means to you, for example, when I was in high school, I was the only blind kid in my school, and I didn't do so well socially, except when I was in the choir. I felt, this is my place to be, and many of you have that experience, or maybe there's a certain performance that you remember. When I was listening to Alice Parker and Ann Howard Jones and Kiki talking about Shaw and the performances that they remember from Shaw. I remember singing with Shaw when I was a college student in the summer, singing the Brahms Requiem. That was a choral moment I will never forget. Maybe it's that thing that happened on that day when you sang this piece that you've been singing forever, and all of a sudden it had a whole new meaning for you. All those choir moments. I love for people to tell stories about those, and then I like to sing them. And what we'll do is every song I will base either on a chord progression or, for example, on a melodic fragment that you can join me. For example, we may have a story, let's say, about a choir moment, and I will say to you, okay, we're going to begin the thing with basses and tenors singing boom, 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 boom. Okay, then sopranos and altos will sing doot, 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 doot. Okay, keep that up. And so we'll base the whole song on something that we can all sing together, or maybe it's a 4-part. Maybe it's a 4-part progression, but there'll be in every song stuff that everybody can sing along, which will be the fun part. So you'll all get to improvise the accompaniments on these story songs. I think it'll be really fun.
That's so great.
Say, Ken, do you prefer to write the stories for like very heartfelt stories, or music for heartfelt stories, or music for silly stories?
Oh, I like them both. I like them both.
Great.
I think we have to have a mixture of both heartfelt, emotional stories and silly ones.
And Sarah just put up on the screen the link to where you can submit either a short video or a short audio clip. And that would be great. The deadline is actually noon today. But if that doesn't work for you, you're welcome to send me an email with the text of the story, and we'll get it to Ken that way. But that will make that session so much more fun if we actually have your participation. Ken, you alluded to the fact that you had sung with Shaw, and I'm curious about that, but I'm also curious to know what it was like for you to start singing in a choir. Because one thing that I often think about in the times that I've gotten to be with you and work with you is that I, as a conductor and a choral singer, I am so about chasing notes around a page and trying to translate those little dots off of the page. And of course, that is not your world at all. So when you say that you sang the Brahms Requiem with Shaw, what was that like for you to learn? How would you learn a score like that?
This was interesting. I had my former high school choral director said to me, if you will learn every note of every tenor part and all the choruses, I have a connection with the university, the summer chorus, and I will get you into that choir. And so I began going through the Brahms Requiem, listening to the recording, learning the German. When I wasn't sure, I would have somebody read a score to me, and I memorized every single note of every tenor part of every chorus in the Requiem. Auditioned for the summer chorus, and I walked into the audition, and the person who was doing the audition said, "Where's your score?" And I said, "Well, it's sort of in my head." And so he chose pieces at random, and I just kind of, he played them, and I just kind of sang the tenor part. And he said, "Well, I guess you can be in it." So that's how it happened.
Amazing.
Absolutely amazing. And what do you remember about Shaw in rehearsal and in performance and all of that?
What I remember is the energy. It was the emotion and the energy and you were terrified but excited. And you knew if he ever came down on you, you would be dead. But on the other hand, the experience was so enlivening. The other thing I remember is that he would wear the same shirt all week long, and the body odor was amazing. When he walked into the room, you could smell that Mr. Shaw was there. I also remember that the guy who prepared the chorus for Shaw was one of our musicology professors, and he and Shaw would go drinking after the rehearsal, and a lot of us students would kind of go and sort of hang outside the bar to just catch the conversations that they were having, and it was just an amazing experience. But then when you came to one of those delicate passages, like the little passage that goes and he was able to put into words the ethereal kind of boy choir sound that he wanted, and everyone in the room felt that he had touched our hearts. He had been inside us, leading our emotions and our hearts into doing the right thing. And for me, it's always been a model. Figure out a way to say what you want. And Matt, that's what I like about your conducting, by the way. You figured out a way to say to a choir what you want to hear. And it's so wonderful to be in your rehearsal.
Thank you. That means a great deal. Yeah, that's amazing to hear about. And by the way, I can't believe that the stuff around Shaw's legendary body odor didn't make it into the documentary, but maybe it's in the director's cut. I'm sure people were talking about that. Ken, I suspect, is more attuned to other senses than
Sure.
some of us. So,
hey, Ken, I'm wondering, not to put you on the spot, but I'm wondering, we have an anniversary today that's happening. Matt and his wife, Amy, are celebrating their, what is it, anniversary?
26th anniversary. Sarah, if you're going to go here, let me call her in.
Okay.
And let me turn off my AirPods. Amy?
So she can hear. Ken, I would love it if you would be able to improvise some sort of happy anniversary message. And we're waiting on Amy to come in. So just 1 second before we get going. I'm just going with it. I don't know. Going rogue. All right. Amy is here, so go ahead, Ken.
I've been in your living room. I have felt the wonder there. I have been in your kitchen. I've drunk wine with you. What a moment to share. And to think that you've been married all these years. You've led so many of us through joy and through our tears. And to think you're still making music here. Happy anniversary to you. Keep doing what you've learned so well to do. Matt and Amy and Matt. There's nothing better than to be where you are at. So keep on doing what you've learned so well to do. To be lovers and friends and help us all to find our own way through.
Yay! That was so lovely. Happy anniversary, you two.
All right, great.
Yes,
now,
happy
crying
anniversary.
before 10 o'clock. This is
It's fine,
awesome.
it's fine. This is everybody sobbing. This is cool. Thanks, Ken.
That was awesome, Ken.
That was amazing.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary, Matt and Amy. Very cool.
Matt, you're muted still. Do you want to be unmuted?
Oh.
There you go.
I've never known Matt to be muted. Boy, that's a new experience.
That's a new one.
Muted Matt. That's a song in itself right there. Muted Matt.
Ken,
That's where we're at. Yeah.
Ken, thank you. We love you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Cool. Oh, man. Thank you. So before we go, I need to give away a prize because that's what we do. And this morning we are fortunate to have, and sorry, non-Albuquerque folks, this one is kind of Albuquerque specific, but Quarter Celtic, that is sponsoring our beer choir tonight, has thrown in a $15 Quarter Celtic gift card, and so that is this morning's prize. And I was trying to think of a trivia question that related to the day, and I finally came up with one in the shower. And this is related to the day both because it's about Bach, and Bach, of course, wrote a Magnificat. So I'm here telling you that the answer to the trivia question is not Magnificat, but also having to do with drinking. And I was remembering this story that I was able to confirm on the internet, so I feel good making it a trivia question. And the question is this. The first performance in the United States of a major Bach work was given by the Handel and Haydn Society in Boston in 1874. You know that Bach's music didn't become known as concert works until after Mendelssohn started to promote it in the early part of the 19th century, and so it took a while to make it over here. There was a famous performance of this major Bach work, the premiere performance in the United States by the Handel and Haydn Society in 1874. The way that they performed the work was in two parts. They performed part one in the afternoon, and then they took a long dinner break, and then they performed part two in the evening. And accounts of that performance indicate that part two, the part that occurred in the evening, was much less successful than part one in the afternoon because the members of the chorus and orchestra over-imbibed during the dinner break.
I mean, I've never done that.
My question is, what major Bach work am I talking about? We're looking for it in the chat. there's only so many, you know, you can.
Only so many choices.
A little clue maybe from the Robert Schuff film that was shown throughout the early part of the week.
What are we seeing?
We're seeing folks guessing St. Matthew Passion.
It is the St. Matthew Passion, David.
Hey.
And
I
David.
think David Meneke.
There you
So,
go.
can you still make use of a gift card from Quarter Celtic? Are you cool with that?
Because you are not from Albuquerque.
Yes, the answer was the St. Matthew Passion. So thank you, David. We will arrange to get this from you. And if you don't think that you'll ever be in Albuquerque, we'll come up with something. We'll come up with something fun. So, hope to see you for Beer Choir back at 5:30. Can I call on my longtime friendship with Ken Miedema to ask you to just kind of play us out today, Ken? Give us just a little something.
It's time to leave, my friends. We've got so much going on. It's time to leave, my friends. So please be gone. Take a little break, get some coffee, or maybe a glass of wine. If it's afternoon for you, but not for me. So I'm gonna get some coffee and set my spirit free.
Awesome. Submit your stories for Ken, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all so much. This was such a lovely way to spend a half an hour. We'll see you at 10 o'clock for Jennifer Kuchar.
Bye.
Thank you, Ken.